Hello, everyone, and welcome to English Talk New York. Today, we are talking about job interviews and how to prepare for them.
Hello. Thank you for inviting me. I am happy to be here and share some simple tips for people looking for a job.
Many people feel nervous before a job interview. Why does this happen?
People often feel nervous because they want to make a good impression and get the job. They may also be afraid of giving a wrong answer.
What can someone do to feel more confident before the interview?
Preparation is very important. First, learn about the company and read the job description carefully.
What should a person learn about the company?
Learn what the company does, what products or services it offers, and what kind of people work there.
Should the candidate prepare answers before the interview?
Yes, but do not memorize every word. Practice your ideas and answer in a natural way.
What is one classic question that candidates should practice?
A very common question is, "Tell me about yourself." Many interviewers ask this at the beginning.
What should the candidate say?
Give a short answer about education, work experience, skills, and professional goals.
Should they talk about their family and personal life?
Not too much. Focus mainly on professional information that is useful for the job.
Can you give us a simple example?
Sure, you can say, "My name is Anna. I have 3 years of experience in customer service, and I enjoy helping people."
That is simple and clear. What can Anna say about her skills?
She can say, "I am organized, friendly, and responsible. I am also good at talking with customers and solving problems."
Great. What is another classic question?
Another common question is, "Why do you want to work here?" How can someone answer without sounding like a robot?
Talk about the company and explain why the job is interesting. You can say, "I like your company and I think this position is a good opportunity for me."
What should a person avoid saying?
Avoid saying only, "I need money" or "I need any job." You should also show interest in the position.
What about, "Why should we hire you?"
Talk about your skills, experience, and how you can help the company.
So the answer should be connected to the job.
Exactly. If the job needs good communication, explain that you communicate well and enjoy working with people.
Should the candidate try to sound perfect?
No. Be confident, but be honest. You do not need difficult words. Clear and simple English can be very effective.
Excellent. So prepare, practice, learn about the company, and speak naturally.
Yes. Remember, an interview is also a conversation. The company wants to know if you are a good person for the job.
Great advice. In Part 2, we will talk about strengths, weaknesses, previous jobs, and more difficult questions.
And we will practice answers that you can use in a real interview.
Thank you for joining us on English Talk New York.
Thank you. See you in Part 2. Welcome back to English Talk New York. In Part 1, we talked about how to prepare for a job interview and how to answer some classic questions.
That's right. Today we are going to talk about strengths, weaknesses, previous jobs, and some questions that can be more difficult.
Let's start with a very common question. An interviewer may ask, "What are your strengths?" What does this mean?
The interviewer wants to know what you are good at and what skills you can bring to the company.
What are some good strengths for a job interview?
You can talk about being organized, responsible, friendly, patient, or good at working with other people.
Can you give us a simple example?
Of course, you can say, "One of my strengths is that I am very organized. I always plan my work and try to finish my tasks on time."
That sounds like a strong answer. Should the candidate give many strengths?
Not necessarily. 2 or 3 good strengths are enough. The important thing is to explain them with a simple example.
Now let's talk about a question that makes many people nervous. What is your biggest weakness?
Yes, this question can be difficult. You should be honest, but you should also show that you are trying to improve.
Can you give us an example of a good answer?
You can say, sometimes I am nervous when I speak in front of many people, but I am practicing to become more confident.
So the candidate talks about a real problem and also explains how they are improving.
Exactly. That is a much better answer than saying, I have no weaknesses.
Why is that answer not good?
Because everyone has things they can improve, saying that you have no weaknesses can sound unrealistic.
Now I want to ask about previous jobs. An interviewer may ask, "Tell me about your previous job." What should the candidate say?
Talk about your position, your main responsibilities, and what you learned from that experience.
Can you give us an example for someone who worked in a store?
Yes, they can say, I worked in a clothing store for 2 years. I helped customers, organized products, and worked with my team.
And what if the person does not have work experience?
That is okay. They can talk about school, courses, volunteer work, projects, or skills they have learned.
That is important because many young people are looking for their first job.
Exactly. You can say, I do not have professional experience yet, but I am responsible, motivated, and ready to learn.
Now let's make things a little more difficult. What happens when the interviewer asks a question you do not understand?
Do not panic. You can politely ask the interviewer to repeat the question.
What can you say?
You can say, could you please repeat the question? Or, could you explain the question, please?
And what if you need a few seconds to think?
That is completely normal. You can say, let me think for a moment, then take a breath and organize your answer.
What should someone do if they don't know the answer at all?
Be honest. You can say, I am not sure, but I would be happy to learn more about it.
That sounds much better than inventing an answer.
Yes, honesty, confidence, and a positive attitude are very important during an interview.
Excellent. So do not be afraid of difficult questions.
Exactly. Listen carefully, take your time, and answer as clearly as possible.
In Part 3, we will practice some unexpected questions and talk about what candidates should say at the end of an interview.
And we will also talk about one important question. Do you have any questions for us?
Great. Thank you for being here again.
Thank you. See you in Part 3.
Welcome back to English Talk New York. This is Part 3 of our conversation about job interviews and how to prepare for them.
Hello again. In this final part, we are going to talk about unexpected questions and how to finish an interview in a good way.
We talked about classic questions before, but what happens when the interviewer asks something unexpected?
First, stay calm. Sometimes the interviewer wants to see how you think, not only if you know the perfect answer.
Can you give us an example of an unexpected question?
The interviewer might ask, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
That question can be difficult. What should someone say?
You can talk about your professional goals. For example, in 5 years, I hope to have more experience and more responsibility in my career.
That is simple and positive. What is another question that can surprise a candidate?
The interviewer may ask, how do you deal with a difficult customer?
What would be a good answer for someone working with customers?
You can say, I listen carefully, stay calm, and try to understand the customer's problem.
That answer shows patience and good communication.
Exactly. You can also explain what you did in a similar situation at a previous job.
What if the interviewer asks, why did you leave your last job?
Be careful with this question. Do not speak badly about your old company or your old manager.
What can the candidate say instead?
You can say, I learned a lot in my previous job, but now I am looking for a new opportunity to grow.
That sounds professional. Now, what about salary? Sometimes the interviewer asks, what are your salary expectations?
This can be difficult, especially if you do not know the average salary for the position.
What should the candidate do?
Before the interview, research the salary for similar jobs. Then you can give a reasonable range.
And what if the candidate is not comfortable giving a number?
They can say, I am open to discussing the salary based on the responsibilities of the position.
Very useful. Now, imagine the interview is almost finished. The interviewer asks, "Do you have any questions for us?"
This is an important moment. Try to have at least one question ready.
What is a simple question that a candidate can ask?
You can ask, what does a normal day look like in this position?
That is a great question. Can they ask about the next steps?
Yes, they can ask, what are the next steps in the interview process?
Should they ask about vacation or salary at this moment?
You can ask about those things, but it is usually better to focus first on the job and the company.
Finally, how should someone finish the interview?
Smile, thank the interviewer, and show that you are interested in the position.
Can you give us a simple example?
You can say, thank you for your time. It was great talking with you. I'm very interested in this position.
That is a very good way to finish.
Yes, remember, you do not need perfect English to have a good interview.
You need preparation, confidence, and clear answers.
Exactly. Practice common questions, learn about the company, and do not be afraid to take a moment before answering.
And if you do not understand a question, simply ask the interviewer to repeat it.
That's right. Stay calm and remember that an interview is a conversation between two people.
Excellent advice. Thank you so much for joining us for these 3 parts.
Thank you for having me. I hope these tips help everyone feel more confident in their next job interview.
And thank you for listening to English Talk New York. Keep practicing your English, keep learning, and good luck with your next interview.
Good luck, everyone. See you next time.